And I don't think I've said this on any other podcast. It was funny because it was like big, and I never forget. It had everybody in it. Like all my characters were in it. Coach Creaton, Mavis and Glavis, like every character from all that I played was in this. And I was like, oh, this is like, and I got excited because I was like, oh, this is like Nutty Professor. Kenan and Kel, how that happened was there was a nationwide search for all that.
Do you remember the popcorn one?
I sort of remember that. Oh, yeah,
like
when it was up to our heads. It was me,
Lori,
Amanda.
Beth, Amanda,
oh, yeah.
Kenan.
I remember that.
So, what's so bad about a room filled with popcorn?
Guys, see what I see?
How many Kids' Choice Awards do you have?
I have... Ooh.
Do you need my hand?
I think
30 years in film and TV.
Okay.
You brought so much joy to so many people over the years. At what point do you realize the impact of what you're doing and what it's doing for people?
It's awesome. Like I just told you, I got back from a family vacation in Riviera Maya at Nickelodeon Resort. And so we were out there and seeing, 2-year-olds and 5-year-olds that know Good Burger and just super excited and screaming and you know what I mean? It's awesome, bro. It's awesome to have done something that people still enjoy. For all these years. It's been great, man.
How do you even put into words that, because you brought the Ed character in your original Nickelodeon audition.
I did.
So how do you even fathom like what you did 25 years ago is still living today and just an audition?
I think I look at it like it's a blessing, bro. Like it's definitely a blessing. And that's something that, it's really cool, that everybody just continues to love it. You know what I mean? And continues to say the line. They love it. And I feel like, the energy that, I brought the character, the talent that God gave me to be able to continue to do it. Like, because you got some actors that they don't like, doing their characters from over and over again. But it's been like the gift that keeps on going. You know what I mean? Like it is super, super fun to continue to do. I love making people laugh and I love hearing the stories.
Yeah.
Like there's so many stories of like people telling me where they were when they saw it. It was an engagement that happened at the movie theater that happened, first dates that happened, people that were in the hospital and I made them laugh by watching Good Burger. Like that's what matters. You know what I mean? It's not about like the show, the network. It's really about how you made people feel when they watched it. Yeah.
I mean, I popped into San Diego Comic-Con and I saw two Eds just walking around. I was there for like 5 minutes. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's a dude. Shout out to Cal. He's just like he's cosplay Ed. Like he's everywhere, all over the place. So shout out to him.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
For the original audition, when you did Ed, did you envision him as working at a burger place? Was that where he lived?
Well, this is how it started. It was in a sketch, of course, on all that. But it was a sketch called Dream Remote that I did with Josh Server. And in that sketch, he had a remote where he can, make time fast, make it slow, whatever. And so he had a pizza guy come over. And I was like, I got to get this pizza guy voice. Let me do the voice that I did in the audition. And I did the Ed voice. And it was just a pizza guy. And I was just like, here's your pizza. Wow. And then the writers went with that and created the Good Burger world. This is his, he's an employee at a fast food restaurant, messes up things. And so, and I love, and then, that voice that I did in audition, also doing that in the sketch. And then for it to still be so iconic right now. I mean, there's a Good Burger restaurant in Mexico at the resort. Like, it's crazy.
When you got brought Good Burger 2, was that a surprise to you? Did you hear inner workings or rumblings that, hey, we might want to do a sequel?
Well, I have a hand in all of this. You know what I mean? So it was like Kenan and I, we had met with Brian Robbins over and over again, trying to figure out like how to bring part 2 back because, to your statement, people love it so much, and they've been wanting us to do 2 since 1 came out, and also Kenan and I both, you know what I mean? And so it was a situation where we had to come up with the story. So we kept sitting down with the writers, shout out to Kevin and Heath, and we kept thinking of like, okay, how are we gonna take this story? What worlds do we want to take it to?
You and Kenan were doing this?
Yeah, Kenan and I and the writers getting together because we produced this as well. So we were like just trying to figure out like, okay, how do we do it? And my main thing was I wanted Ed to be true to Ed. You know what I mean? And who he is. And let's see him with kids. And let's see him married. And all these different things. And I feel like we did that, man. And it's so fun. I mean, to have my actual kids in the film playing Ed's kids, that was just such a surreal moment at that point. And then just fun to just be, you know, working with my brother again on this project, walking around an actual Good Burger in Rhode Island. It was I think it was a Dairy Queen or 21 Flavors that we turned into like Good Burger. You know what I mean? And then all the people in Rhode Island that just came out to help us film this. It was great, man.
Did you ever have any training doing fry cooking or anything? Do they throw you on there so you know what you're doing?
Well, I'm from Chicago. So, you know, of course, I know how to barbecue. Shout out to my family. We always had, you know, family barbecues over at the house and stuff like that. So I know how to do that. You know what I mean? But Ed was never the fry guy or the cook. You don't want him in the kitchen back there. He knows how to make a burger, but you're one back there. He was always in the front. You know what I mean? Greeting the people and messing up their orders. You know?
Let's go back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
So back in 1994, do you see an open call audition for Nickelodeon? Did they say they were putting out casting for a sketch show?
Well, I started out in theater. And so I was a theater kid in Chicago. And so I was doing ETA Creative Arts Foundation is where I started because I was a bit of a rambunctious kid. Was getting in a lot of trouble and stuff like that. And so I did the summer program at a theater where me and my family used to go see plays at this community theater. And that was ETA. And I just fell in love with it, man. And
what was your favorite part?
Of theater?
Yeah.
Oh, man, bro. To actually this, this gift, because I'll say that, from God that he just, gave. It was like trying to find the purpose within that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm doing it in the wrong places. And sometimes, when you do it in the wrong places, you can get in trouble, right? Because I was in class and I was just trying to perform. And I was just like, oh, man, I keep getting in trouble. But then when I got to theater, it was just like, oh, do this in the right spot, like on stage and performing. I wasn't getting in trouble at school anymore as much because I was like, part of these plays, and I started doing plays at night, matinees, all these different things. And then I went to Victory Gardens Theater in downtown, Goodman Theater, and just became a theater kid. And it wasn't a thing of like trying to get on TV at that point. It was just more of like, this is a beautiful outlet.
What was your favorite part of the process? Was it that crowd cheer? Was it just performing the art?
I performing the art. And I really like the teamwork of everything. In theater, there's no ego, really, in theater, because we're all an ensemble to put on an amazing show every night. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And I recently did off-Broadway play called Anything Goes recently. And it was just that the heart of it all, to fall in love with acting again. You know what I mean? In that way, how young Kel was just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. You know what I mean? I love theater. Theater is great. And there's no take one, take two. Like, you're literally have to go from, page one all the way down, you know what I mean? Every night, and then on the weekends, 2 shows a day, you know what I mean? So, and I love that. The backstage of it all, of everybody back there excited, and the things that, the crowd doesn't see, the love of the cast, you know what I mean?
Did that feel like that was your calling?
Yeah. I mean, I feel that within that of, how can I say it? I think it's a piece of it. You know what I mean? It's a piece of my journey within this business. You know what I mean? Which I dig, man, because it's an awesome journey. Our life is a journey, and it's so many things that as you know, or people will find out if they're listening to this podcast, that I'm a part of. A lot of different things, and I feel like I just let God guide me. God guide me wherever he wants me to take me. That's what faith is all about, man. Just, you going out there and saying, okay, I'm going to just see what happens, but I trust you, Lord. It might feel wild, but I'm going to trust you. And just, and when you do that, amazing things happen, bro. Like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you see a Nickelodeon audition, or what were they auditioning for?
Oh, well, so I had an agent. So I got an agent after I was doing, I did a play at Victory Gardens in Chicago, and I was getting critical acclaim, and we were in the paper and everything like that. And so I ended up getting an agent And so agent, shout out to Aria Talent. And they were a modeling agency as well, so I was a model as well. So,
Captain Crunchbox.
So yeah, man. So it was awesome, and they just started, sending me on auditions. And so there was a nationwide search for all that. And of course, it was an audition through Aria, and I went and did it, man. And I remember the audition because I was in high school at that time, and I had finals. I was, late being there because I had finals and we couldn't find a place and all these different things. And I remember I was the last one to go in, and they were like, hey, why don't you do impersonations? And so usually a kid would do impersonations of actors that they've seen on TV or all this cartoon characters and all this stuff. But I did like my uncles and people that I saw on the L, and going through the city, my teachers, all these different things. And all those teachers and all those impersonations of all the people that were in my life in Chicago, it ended up on screen in these characters, in Coach Creaton and in Mavis and Clavis, in Ed. You know what I mean?
Was Coach Creaton a real person?
Yeah. So so I had a coach at my high school, at CVS High School, that was very like mean and screaming and yelling at people. And so like I did that voice in the audition as well. And so it's just really cool to shout out to the producers of all that they were very open to us working with them at that time. You know what I mean? Because everybody was, just like, this is something new for Nickelodeon. They had never tried anything like this before, like a Saturday Night Live for kids. I like to say in living color for kids. You know what I mean? Because we were a diverse cast. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, it was great. Yeah.
Did they do any like group meetings amongst all the kids to make sure everyone meshed well? Or were you just signed on and thrown into day one of filming?
Not day one of filming. So we did have an initial audition, that first one, and then I didn't hear anything for a while. And usually when you don't hear anything, you think like, oh, well, I didn't get it. And I remember it was one night the phone rang. No cell phones back then, so it was like the phone ring when they were just coming out, and the phone ring, and my mom was like, "Hey, what? Up, L.A. Oh, okay, all right." And so I had to fly to Los Angeles, and I recently talked to my parents about this because then my dad had to fly to Los Angeles to the second audition because my mom was pregnant at that time, and so my dad went to the second audition, and we went to L.A. and it was every kid you could possibly think of that they did this search with, from New York to L.A., all over the place, and it was like the Avengers of every funny kid. I just remember this huge line of just all these kids giving their best funny jokes, all these different things, and but ultimately made it through.
Did you feel like you had a place in there?
I did. I mean, I feel like I was prepared because of theater. And I was the type of kid where even within theater, it just gave me this, how can I say, like courage and confidence and training. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, you were ready for it. Like, I really worked for it. Like, it wasn't like a thing like this is given to you. You had to really work for it within that room. You knew there was other kids, so I was like, okay, well, let me switch this joke around. Let me go do this. And they didn't really mix and match, like how some shows they'll mix and match, but in the auditions they didn't do that with us. It was just like we didn't meet anybody until we got to the pilot of the first show. And so I remember we were all at the hotel. Everybody came in at night.
All the cast members.
Everybody came in at night. No one saw who got through. And so I remember they were like, we're picking everybody up in the morning at this time. And at this point, my mom was out there with me and everybody's mom. And, and I remember everyone was coming off the elevator of the Peabody Hotel in Orlando, Florida. And every kid was like, boom, they staggered us at different times to come to the lobby. And that's when we met everybody. And the only person I knew was Josh. Because Josh was from Chicago. And so, like, I saw him in, like, different auditions and stuff like that.
Was he in that same circuit as you as a kid?
I didn't. Yes, in the same circuit. Yeah, so he was going on different auditions and things like that. Yeah.
Wow.
We were from different parts of Chicago, though.
Did you hit it off with anyone else in that cast immediately?
Well, knowing Josh, so that was cool. Hit it off. And then with Kenan, we hit it off. Like, Kenan had already, out of all of us, he was, like, he had done Mighty Ducks. So he was in the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, so
and
he
some
had a
other-
name at that point.
Yeah,
right?
so it was already like, hey, we know this kid, and he came in because the movie hadn't came out yet, but he came in with the skates, like he rode in with the skates,
Of course.
and did the whole thing, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I gotta hang out with that kid, and then my mom and his mom still friends to this day. And Kenan and I both just, we hit it off. Even though he was from Atlanta, our lives were very similar. You know what I mean? So it was cool.
Was there a good gut feeling that the show was going to become something? Because it really became like the show of the 90s.
Uh-huh.
It was so pivotal for that generation.
I don't think any of us knew. Like, even the producers, the execs, the cast, it was a pilot. Like, it was literally like they wanted to do it as a presentation. And so they put it as a special on one night to see like what the ratings would be, to see how it would go. And so when we did that, we all went home. Like, everybody, like, it was his first episode to come out. Everybody went home. We knew we had like TLC and, amazing, funny sketches. But, who knew if it would work or if, Viacom would say, cool. And, of course, the ratings went through the roof, and then they brought us back. I think the only thing that happened, and I don't know if Josh remembers this conversation, but I remember we were behind stage, like right where the musical guests come out, like with the garage and all that stuff, like, and we both looked at each other, and we were like, man, I got a feeling we're going to be doing this for a little bit. We just looked at each other like, yeah, I think this is good. And that's the one conversation I do remember having on the pilot of like it, happening. And I talked to him about it. And when we came back, we laughed about it. Like, yeah, man, let's rock it. We rocked it, man. To this day, people are still loving all that, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Do you remember watching the pilot? Did you watch it live on TV?
Oh yeah. At home, my entire family, everybody, screaming, laughing. It's like, man, I got a TV show. This is crazy. But then us all thinking like, we knew it was a special. So it wasn't a thing of like, okay, back to everything as usual. You know what I mean? Like, we did this thing for Nickelodeon and it was fun. Okay, cool. I was, in a rap group at the time. I was, in high school, doing all these different things. You know what I mean? So it was just like, hey, this is one of the things that I was a part of. Cool. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens with it, And that was the mentality, as a young actor, you go, auditions, do things, movies, things like that. And, hey, go to the next thing. But then we got the call that, hey, they're picking the show up and you guys are going to have to come to Florida. And so now it was us, Shaq, who was on the Orlando Magic, and the Disney kids, because Justin and them were still like kind of wrapping up their stuff,
Mickey
Mouse Club, yeah. And so yeah, we were out there in Florida tearing it up.
Wow! How soon after the pilot came out did they pick up for season 1?
I'm trying to remember the math of that, because it gets cloudy after that, because then it was just like
Non-stop.
go time. Yeah, it was nonstop after that. Yeah,
Wow.
I feel like it was a few months. And then we were just like, let's rock it.
What was your favorite part of the whole process? Was it like reading the scripts and figuring out the characters?
Playing these, fun, amazing characters, that was great. And an awesome cast. I mean, as an actor, you hope to have a great cast. You know what I mean? And a cast that you gel with. And that was what it was. Like, we had 7 kids that were just great to work with and fun to work with. And for all of us, this was like, we were at Universal Studios, and so we were filming there. So it was like, in between time, you could go ride the Back to the Future ride and all these different things. You know what I mean?
The dream.
Yeah, man. And then navigating, this celebrity, and then also being a teenager at the time. It was just, it was a lot of like, and then meeting musical guests that, like, I mean, I had listening to them on my Walkman, walking through Chicago, you know what I mean, on the bus, and then now they're in front of me, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking to, TLC, LL Cool J, Usher, Destiny Child, and you got to think about it, like, a lot of these artists, they were coming on our show to drop their first single. So a lot of these, amazing artists at that time, they were just starting like we were starting. You know what I mean? Like, we saw Destiny Child when they were first starting, you know what I mean? Usher, when his first single was on all that. So it's like, all of that. You know what I mean? That was
crazy.
Cool. Yeah, that was just fun. Yeah.
Were you like thrust into the limelight of almost going to different premieres here and there and trying to get your photos in magazines? Was that a thing then for you?
It was a little different than how it is now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And timelines are different too. Like you had to kind of wait. Like if you shot a show, you had to wait a few months for it to come out. things of that nature. It's not like now. Like it's like instant and everybody has Instagram and all that stuff like that. But back then it was like, you had the magazines. So you had Teen Bop and
were you trying to get in there?
No,
I didn't.
No, it was like they approached us. Like, you know what I mean? At this point, we were the hot show and they were putting us in all the magazines and all that stuff like that. I got to be in all the magazines and all the cool stuff, like that was what was happening. And it was even like, it was moving so fast that they were like, okay, we got to get them, press etiquette and how to do this and how to do that, because it was moving fast for us. The show took off. Even for Nickelodeon, they had to adjust because it was moving so fast. It was gaining popularity, and it was just great, man. Yeah.
Did it launch the network into a new category?
I feel it did. You know what I mean? I feel it did because before then, they didn't have that.
The Powerhouse Show.
How can I explain it? Well, I mean, I don't want to take away from, Clarissa Explains It All and all those other shows. They had great shows like that. But it had a hip-hop appeal to it. It had a great feeling to it. Like, it was different than anything else that they ever had on there. And for them, I know that they know that. You know what I mean? They were like, this is way different. But it just, it resonated with so many people.
It was really lightning.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
At what point do you find out that you're doing Kenan and Kel show?
So we're doing all that for a couple of seasons. And then
for those couple of seasons in the downtime, what are you doing? Are you auditioning? Are you allowed to audition for other things?
Well, so we were doing so much as far as our schedules were crazy as far as all that is concerned. But then when we would have hiatuses, we would go back home, so and just have a little break and then go back. And so on those hiatuses, Kenan and I, we wanted to stay enrolled in our high schools because we wanted to still have the experience of, prom and, a little bit of the same experience because it was, getting a little wild. And so it was cool because at that time we were juniors, sophomores, juniors. And so high school students weren't really into Nickelodeon like that. It was still junior high, elementary. So we were still able to navigate a little bit until we couldn't, until it got too crazy. And our teachers would send work back and forth because we had our tutors on set too, on location education and stuff like that. So man, I was doing music in between. My group performed on all that, so that was going on. And then going back home and going to school and trying to finish school, and then back to doing all that. And it was just it was literally all that school, all that school, all that school.
I mean, your parents must have been going crazy driving you everywhere.
Yeah, man, it was wild. And then, getting my driver's license at that time, everything was part of that same time, getting a driver's license in Chicago and then driving around in Florida, getting whatever car we wanted, all that different stuff, because they were just renting cars for us. They were like, what do you want? So that was fun. But yeah, man, Kenan and Kel, how that happened was they had watched Kenan and I on set and, on and off set, and how, hilarious we were together and having fun like brothers, right? And so we got approached by the producers. They were like, yo, we want you all to do your own show, but when everybody else goes on hiatus, you all are going to stay here and you're going to shoot the pilot for the Kenan and Kel show. And at the time, it wasn't called the Kenan and Kel show. They were just like, we're giving you your own show. And they were like, but you can't tell the other kids yet. And so that was a whole thing, too. So we were just like, okay, what is this going to be? Oh, my goodness. And
are you and Kenan freaking out?
Oh, yeah. We're freaking out. We're like, oh, this is amazing. And we knew that it was going to be something different than all that. So it was going to be those shows that we watched, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, all these different shows. So it was just like, okay, Family Matters. It's going to be that type of show. And that was cool. I remember we had a meeting and we all got together and they were trying to think of the name of what it was going to be. And shout out to Kim Bass, who created the show. and because he doesn't get a lot of credit for that. So shout out to Kim Bass. He created it. He also created Sister Sister as well. And so, and when you watch Sister Sister and watch Kenan and Kel, you kind of see parallels, you know what I mean, which is pretty cool. So shout out to T and Samira. What up, y'all? But yeah, when we did that, it was the same thing. Shot a pilot, but we went straight to season with that. Like, they were ready. And then it was a thing where that Kenan and I both, we were basically doing, it felt like simultaneously, like we were doing Kenan and Kel, all that, Kenan and Kel, all that. And it was just back and forth, Kenan and Kel, all that, which was great. The schedule was crazy, but I loved it. I love that.
Are you thankful the TV show got named after your name?
I am. I think that's cool because that happening made both of our names household names, you know, where everybody knows who we actually are. They're not like calling us the character of like whatever show we're on. They're like calling me my actual name, which is fun.
Oh, wow. So it ended up just working in the favor of that.
Yeah. So I remember it was a dinner that we had. Kim Bass was there, our head writers, all the producers, and Kenan and I, of course.
Are you guys 18 at this point?
I think we're a little younger than that.
Okay.
Might have been 17, something like that. But we're a little younger. But we're all together. Everybody's there. And I remember they were like, they've had a paper of different names of the show. And it was just like all these are me and my homie, all these different things. And we were just like, okay. And then someone, I don't know who it was at the time, but someone said just name it after them, like the Kenan and Kel show. And it took off, which was amazing because it was like, it started the comedy duo aspect of, you know, Abbott and Costello, you know, Magic Kareem, all these different things. You know, it put that out there, you know, Martin and Lewis. So it put us in the comedy duo era, which was cool for that generation.
Right.
And yeah, it was cool. And I remember Kim Fields, because, you know, Kim Fields, Michael Jamal Warner, they were our directors for like all that and the Kenan and Kel show. And Kim Fields actually showed us Martin and Lewis in all of their shows. And so because we didn't know like why the curtain was behind us and all this stuff like that. And we were just like, oh, that's an homage to them. Oh, that's so cool. You know what I mean? And
so you were paying tribute to them for that?
Yeah. With the curtain, you know, with them coming up front, you know, all the stuff that they used to do. I thought that was amazing. And so they showed us that and our minds were just like blown, like to be like, oh, okay, so we're part of this history of comedy duos. We're making, you know, a new generation get into that. So that's been cool.
Was the first thing you filmed the intro of the show with Coolio?
No, so we did the show and there was the curtain and all that stuff. That was there, you know, because the curtain is always after the theme song. So we didn't have the theme song yet. And so I remember Coolio had already done all that. And so he was, you know, in a bunch of Good Burger sketches. He would come to set. He's super cool, man. And we had fun with Coolio, obviously. And then I was already doing music because we did the All That soundtrack like around 94, 95. And it was just all the musical guests on one album. And now I love that because I was doing music. And so Ed had been just, you know, take it off, right? And so then it was like, all right, yeah, let's get somebody on the theme song. Let's have them do the theme song. And Coolio was just perfect. I mean, the music was crazy around that time, Gangsta's Paradise, all that stuff. And so to already have one theme song that had megastars on it, which was TLC, and then you get another megastar in music, Coolio, to do the Kenan and Kel one. And it was cool because we shot that at Universal here in LA, at City Walk. And we had the Impala, all orange Impala, bouncing up and down. Coolio announced it on the radio with Big Boy. So, I mean, it was crowds there. We're all dancing. Immature came there because me and Immature had a song that was on the Billboard charts already from the All That soundtrack before. So, yeah, man, it was crazy. It was crazy. And, I mean, he killed it with the lyrics. I mean, they play it in the club now, you know, and I do live events and things like that, and the DJs mix in all that, and it's just all that in Kenan and Kel, and people go crazy and know the lyrics. Like, it's funny.
What's your mindset throughout all of this? Are you focused on like, this is my acting career, I have to take it seriously, or are you kind of like bouncing around going to Hollywood parties? I
feel like it's one of those things where you're navigating it all, man. You're just like, you know, my main objective, I don't know about all the other kids, but my main thing was to be the funniest I can be, that I know I could be. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I want to give 120% with every character. Everything I'm doing, because I was, blessed with the opportunity to do this. And my parents reminded me of that, like, hey, this is work. You know what I mean? So, you want to do it and it's work, you know what I mean? And so, as you're a kid though, as being a teen, you kind of, get the blurred lines of, oh, this could be always, you know what I mean? Like this. But then also, oh, but I know it's work. You know what I mean? At the same time. But there's this blurred line. And so you got to just kind of like not get to the point where it's like, I'm feeling myself. You know what I mean? Because there's people will tell you anything, with working in this business. You know what I mean?
You're the next.
Yeah, right. And you don't want to get lost. You know what I mean? And so my main thing was when we bought all that back, like back in, I want to say it was 2018. We brought, it was 2019. And we brought all that back with a whole new cast. And our producing that, I remember I told the kids, I was just like, remember, it's a job. You know what I mean? And this is just one of many. And so that way they wouldn't get into competition and going at each other, all these different things. I wanted them to understand that, this is a gift that you've been given by God, and you can take this to other places and other things. And you might not even want to act anymore. You know what I mean? There might be other things that you want to do, or you want to continue to act, but this is just one part of your journey. So, be excited and love and be in the moment. You know what I mean? Be in the moment, do your job, be excited about it, but know that, no one can take anything away from, what God has given you. You know what I mean? And so, and look at it as a job. And I even flew my parents out because this wasn't something that happened with, a lot of us. Like, I wanted my parents who have experienced this to talk to the parents of those kids. And they talked to the parents of those kids, and it was moms crying and all this stuff like that because they had questions. You know what I mean? And, the producers and stuff aren't talking to them. It's like, oh, that's just the mom. You know what I mean? But it was cool that the parents got to talk to their parents. And I still keep in contact with a lot of the kids from the reboot of all that. And they're doing great. You know what I mean? Shout out to Gabby. She's doing Stranger Things on out on Broadway. And, Lex is a director now. And it's just like, it's awesome. And that's the thing about it. Like, I had to look at, to have this entire journey, and now I'm part of their story. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm part of their story. Like, even, with Brian Robbins, I'm part of his story, watching him on Head of the Class, and then him having this great idea with his cast members to say, I want to do a sketch comedy show. Do you know what I mean? And then he found these kids, and now we're part of his story. And then now my story, I'm helping some other kids. Like, it's really about who are you helping through this process, and how can you be a gift to them by sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. Never look at this as a competition. Don't look at this as anger. Why is this person doing this? Why is this? Because what is for you is for you. You know what I mean? And doors will open for you because everybody's journey is different. You know what I mean? So you have to enjoy it in that way.
That's really special. You were able to guide the next generation.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Was there anything key for you that you wanted to bring on to that new version for those kids so that they can follow in those good footsteps that you had?
Yeah, so the one definitely speaking to them and telling them that, look, any advice that I can give.
You were there for them.
I'm there for you, to do that, to give advice. And even to this day, like, Gabby ended up joining my church because I'm also a youth pastor too as well. So she ended up joining the church and hanging out. And
what town is that in?
That's in Winnetka, California. And bro, it's just like, and then I jumped in there too because I remember the producers were like, okay, Kel, we're doing the reboot, but can you do the characters, like your characters with these kids? So like Coach Creaton and, Ed. And I was like, man, I'm so happy I've been in the gym. Because I was like, I was very physical kid. My comedy was very physical. I loved Jim Carrey and Martin Lawrence. And I would fall all over the place. And the writers would do stuff like in the action, they would say, and then Kel does his thing. You know what I mean? Because they know that I was going to do something physical. So I was like, I remember I told you 120%. So it was like, I got to bring that same and so they can see it as well. Because that was the thing. Like I was even when we were doing it. Because nowadays to get stuff done fast, a lot of studios they don't use an audience anymore.
Oh, they just pump the sound.
Yeah,
in.
they just pump the sound in, and I'm like, bro, we can't do that with all that. You cannot do that with all that. All right, so y'all, if you're watching and you heard the audience, you thank your boy, because I was just like, oh man, y'all gotta have an audience in there, because that's how kids, like actors, if you're doing comedy on stage or whatever, that's how you find if you're funny or not. You know what I mean? Because even with doing stand up, if it's a laugh track, it might not have been funny. Or if it's just the producers and the writers that are going ha 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 in the back,
they're on payroll.
Right, on payroll, right? But if it's an audience there and they didn't laugh at something, they know immediately, oh, okay, we need to rewrite that, or let me improv, let me do something else. And so to have an audience there, it makes them a beast. And then there's audience night, and I think that came from theater for me, because it's like it's showtime. It's tonight. You hear the audience coming in, you getting ready for it, and I wanted them all to have that same feeling. Like, okay, yeah, we've done rehearsals, you've done run-throughs, you did all this, but now it's showtime. And you got to do this on stage, you know what I mean, in front of this audience. Let's rock, you know what I mean? And seeing their eyes light up and seeing the audience, I wanted them to have that same feeling as we did as cast members, and to be able to interact with the audience, and the audience interact with them. But what was beautiful about that audience was that it was filled with parents that watched us on the 90s. And then the kids that have discovered the show and are excited about the new cast of the new show. So that was great to see. And then for me to play Ed, because, everyone thinks like Good Burger 2 was Ed coming back. It was actually that, because I had to, I was on there for 2 seasons doing that, and then playing those characters. So I had already kind of got rekindled with Ed. You know what I mean? And all my characters, not to sound crazy, but because I'm a very creative person. So all my characters, I kind of look at it as like I said, like a gift, so you go like when I saw him in the mirror, I was like, hey, old friend, hey, what's up? Let's get it. Let's get back to it. You know what I mean? And then when I get out of the suit, I'm like, thank you. You know what I mean? Thank you. Let's go to the next thing. Because it's a part of me, but it's not me. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Ed got Good Burger.
Yeah.
Did you ever want any of your other characters to get a movie? Because that first Good Burger had a 3-picture deal with Paramount, right?
Yes. So,
but it never amounted to anything.
Well, we did do TV movies. And so that was the kind of way of doing it. But we were supposed to do, it was a 3-picture deal. So we were supposed to have 3 pictures. Theatrical. And so it was funny, because I remember Good Burger 1, the first draft was about this big, bro. And I don't think I've said this on any other podcast. It was funny because it was like big. And I never forget, I was at my apartment in Florida, and I was reading it, and in the bathroom, everybody. I was reading it in the bathroom, and it had everybody in it. Like all my characters were in it. Coach Creaton, Mavis Glavis, like every character from all that I played was in this. And I was like, oh, this is like, and I got excited because I was like, oh, this is like Nutty Professor. This is going to, I love it. Eddie Murphy. I was like, oh, this is great. I get to play all these different characters. But then, I don't know, one of the execs of Paramount was like, this is too crazy. Like it's everybody. It's very ambitious, with all these different characters. But they kept a lot of stuff, like Lori Beth got to play, instead of Miss Fingerly, she Connie Muldoon and all that stuff, and Josh playing Fizz. And I didn't play many different other characters, but I think it would have been cool if that would have happened. But, got to play Ed. And I think Kenan and I both, we talk about this all the time. Like Coach Creaton, a Coach Creaton movie would be hysterical.
Have you thought of that storyline?
Definitely. We definitely have. And you see it all the time. Like, how many sports movies have you seen? And shout out to Adam Sandler with bringing Happy Gilmore back and all these different things. And so I think it would be funny, like Coach Creaton having to, help some kids win the game. You know what I mean? But with him being so upset all the time, it would be just a crazy film. You know what I mean?
Have you ever put the pen to the paper and written out a script?
Just ideas.
Okay.
With Coach Creaton. We shall see if that would happen. Probably something in a different character or something else, but They love Coach Creaton, and they love Repairman. That's another one.
Repairman.
Yeah. I had because I work with a lot of like influencers that are amazing directors. Shout out to Irvin Lambert. We did a Mystery Man 2 like trailer, which everybody wants that too as well. So we did that as Invisible Boy. And so I had an idea of doing like a super dude and Repairman, but make it like kind of like Marvel-esque Avengers type of thing. I think it would be hilarious. Because you see these people cosplay. Like people cosplay as Repairman, as Super Dude, as Ed, all these different characters. And then, of course, with Mystery Man, Invisible Boy, people come in with the blonde hair. They have the full outfits. Ben knows this, Ben Stiller, and we've talked about it, about doing a Mystery Man too. Because it's funny. It's like, and shout out to all my superhero people. You know what I mean? They know what's happening. So I love Marvel and I love all of that stuff. And but if you look back, Marvel they were only doing like one superhero. This is before the Avengers. All the Avengers, stuff like that. Mystery Man was like the first superhero team up where it's a bunch of like superheroes. And so people have done like, podcasts on this, and they've done all this different stuff on it and storylines on it. And it was like one of the movies where you could see that it could work, where it's like multiple superheroes in one movie. You know what I mean?
How close was that conversation for Mystery Men 2?
Having everybody together for Mystery Men?
Possible, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's close. Yeah, it's close. It's just about, of course, being super busy. Everyone's busy from the cast, you know what I mean? So I said, okay, well, why don't I want to show you guys, like what we do, you know what I mean? And some of the fun stuff and where it could go. Because I was looking at the amazing job that Michael B. Jordan did with Rocky, the Rocky franchise. And it's something, with, the nostalgia and the fan base of it all. People love Rocky, man. And people love Mystery Man.
I love Mystery Man when it came out.
Right, bro? And so people love Mystery Man. And so everybody's been talking about a two. And I said, well, who's the youngest one? And it was me. It was my character. I was the youngest one. I was like, well, let's see where he's at now in this world, who he's saving, all these different things. So we wrote up a whole thing, and we did we put out on Instagram and everywhere, and it took off. Like, we did the video, shot it. I got Stuntman in it, all the cool stuff. And we made it like really, really cool, like to see, you know what I mean? So it has like a Deadpool flair to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Ben and his wife knew about it. They thought it was an amazing job. And yeah, man, so you possibly see a Mystery Man 2 soon. but it would be based on Invisible Boy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Creed. Yeah.
Do you have any memory of Mystery Men on set when you were filming with Ben? Was there anything?
Of course. Come on, man. Like,
that was a big budget movie.
Big budget movie. Bigger budget than Thinkerburger at the time. You know what I mean? So this was just like, whoa, okay. And I'm with all these like heavy hitters who I've watched on screen and that I admire. You know what I mean? And so that was huge for me. You know what I mean? And for me to be amongst them, you know what I mean? Like when Ben said, I want everybody on the poster. You know what I mean? And then to see myself very big across the street from the Men's Chinese Theater with Ben Stiller's name, and I've just watched him for years. Like, it was just like, whoa, you know what I mean? And then to have my face right next to his on there, and on set, giving advice, us, telling jokes to one another, rapping, all this fun stuff, improvising, because that was a big thing. You're talking about, you've got, 5 comedians that are playing superheroes, and this was before, like, because, superhero movies were very, serious. Now it's funny because, like, what was the movie? Kick-Ass, and what's the Boys, all these different shows, they're very similar to Mystery Man, if you think about it now, and Deadpool, where it's like this comedy with superhero. We were on to something like very early on. So it was just fun to work with all of them. And then Paul Rubens, Pee-wee, grew up watching Pee-wee, and it was like, now he had this like cart, and he would like drive up to our trailers and be like, lunch is ready, and it was just like, And, as a young kid, I'm like trying to play it cool, but I'm just like, yo, like this is, you know what I mean? This is Pee-wee. This is crazy. Yeah.
Were there, because you mentioned like Jim Carrey, you got to work with Ben Stiller. Were there any other comedians that maybe they were very physical comedians that you really wanted to work with that you haven't gotten the chance yet?
I've been like really blessed to kind of work with a lot of like the legends that I looked up to, and they were cool. Because, you hear stories where it's like you met someone you look up to and then they were bogus or weren't very nice. You know what I mean? That has happened, but we won't talk about those stories. But I've been blessed to like have like really cool people that I've met that have been great. Like, Paul was amazing. Rest in peace. And then also John Ritter. Now, I was a huge John Ritter fan. Like, if you see a lot of Martin as well, within my work, because I love like Martin's physical comedy and his characters, and it's just amazing. So shout out to Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, same way. I feel the same way. Richard Pryor, like I didn't get a chance to meet Richard, but it was just like cool to see all these different characters. Amazing comedians that could act as well on stage. You know what I mean? And Jim Carrey to be able to do drama, Jamie Foxx. So. I remember John Ritter. I got Clifford the Big Red Dog, and I was at the gym earlier today, and my boy Melvin, he was just like, "Wait, are you T-Bone on Clifford the Big Red Dog?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "I was watching it with my kid," and I'm just like, "It's crazy." Another like classic show to be a part of, with Clifford the Big Red Dog and kid, on PBS, and kids still watch it to this day. But John Ritter was Clifford, and so. This is someone that I watched like at night when I was supposed to be, in bed because I had school the next day, and I'm just watching Three's Company. Like I studied Three's Company because his physical comedy was amazing, and I feel like people don't talk about his physical comedy as much, but his physical comedy was on point. And I remember the one episode that kind of changed everything for me, that made me like, oh, I want to do this, is when he played his cousin from Texas. Right. And he had to be Jack and his cousin at the same time in the same room. And no one else could like figure it out. So he's rolling behind the couch. He's on each side of the room. He's running through the kitchen and putting on the hat, taking off the hat, putting on the shirt, taking off the shirt. And it was just like amazing. And I got to tell him all of that. Like, we were shooting Clifford, and I got to talk to him about that. And just a great guy, man. He's just a great guy to work with.
Were you doing group recordings of Clifford?
Yes. So
Same time.
Wow. So we did group recordings, and that was what was so cool. And then, Love Different World, right? So now I'm working with the amazing Cree Summers. You know what I mean? Every voice you could possibly think of, Cree Summer has done, right? And so to get advice from Cree on voiceover work was amazing. You know what I mean? She was like a big sister to me. Every time I see her, it's like big hugs. And for her to like say like, hey man, do it this way, do it that way. And to get all that advice from all the cartoons that I've watched as a kid. I'm working with, championship player, right? You know what I mean? She's like amazing. Yeah.
What's that like for you, being such a physical actor, to now doing voice acting, to where it's strictly just on how you pronounce things? Was that difficult transition?
You know what? For what was cool about Cree and all the other voice actors that were part of it, them telling me like, we're playing dogs, but it's not just the voice. Like when a dog burrows, you don't want to be like, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like you want to really get in there, So my physical comedy actually helped with me playing T-Bone, because I actually would get on, do it right there. You know what I mean? And it helped with all my like other cartoons that I was part of, you know what I mean? And so I love animation, and, I get up, like I'm not sitting down like this. I'll stand up and, really get into the character. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite animated role that you took on?
Oh man, I've done so many. Proud Family. We did Freaknik the Musical, which was a great one with T-Pain. That was super fun. I mean, of course, Clifford has a special place in my heart. But Freaknik the Musical was hysterical. You know what I mean? That was a great one. Wild Grinders, which went on for a while, which was just a great show to be part of with Rob Dyrdek. Just being skateboard kids and stuff like that. That was a great show too as well. So I got I don't know. There are like people always like, which one can you pick from with animation? And I'm just like, I had so much fun with each one.
Right.
Everyone's so different, and I feel the same way with acting. Like it's the same thing. Like you step into the shoes of a character, and then that's it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They all have a special place. Yeah.
What does it feel like for you? Because I feel like when you stepped into the industry, it was like a very certain type of machine. And right when you stepped in is when everything started to change. The internet came out, streamers started coming.
Yeah.
What does it feel like for you to see all these things change in the past 25 years? Do you feel like you have to stay ahead of it to be in it?
I think it's cool that we were involved in like the beginning of it all. I remember like going to the Nickelodeon offices, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna have a chat with all your fans on the computer." And it was just like, and we were like, "What?" Because we were used to like signing with everybody and signing posters, and then everybody comes in the line. They're like, "No, they're gonna like talk to you," and it was very. You had 5 other people typing. This is what JJ said from blah blah blah, and then you had to wait for it to like. And it was slowly going. And it was like the craziest thing, the loud clicks, and then we would tell them what we wanted to say, and then they would write it. It was funny, but it's like super fun to see all of that happen. For me, and I've always been the type of guy, right? Like you have actors that go like, oh well, the rappers back when the rappers were like getting the gigs and stuff like that. The rappers are getting all the gigs and they're getting all the movies and all that type of stuff. And I've always been like, I've always loved the Rat Pack, Sammy Davis Jr. We talked about Jerry Lewis and all these guys, man. And coming from theater, it's like you got to be able to do it all. Like the music, the singing, dancing, producing, writing. I was doing my own makeup like in theater before. That's why it was like when I got on stage, it was like, oh, I know how to do a bruise and all these different things. It was like I understood that it took a teamwork. And so like within this business, it's like it's ever evolving. Everything is changing, and especially right now, because now instead of the rappers, everybody's like the influencers are they're getting all the movies, and what is going on? And I'm the type of person where I'm just like I'm a competitive person, so but it doesn't get crazy, but I am a competitive person, so I kind of enjoy learning and gaining wisdom for the ones that are doing these things. So it's like to hang out with a Kai Cenat and to work with a Irvin Lambert and all these different guys that are just like that know what they this new industry of what's going on, to work with them and to we all could work together. I think that's cool. You know what I mean? And I think that's a thing that we should all like do. Like, understand that, like I said, it's a journey, and what's for you is for you. And I'm excited about it. Like, I went to a premiere recently, and I was on. They call me an influencer. Like they call me an influencer.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Because they see like what I do like on my social media, because I understand it and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. Like things are changing now. Like they want to see the actor who the person is. Back then it used to be a mystique. Like you could just kind of do your own, you know what I mean, your own thing. And these are my characters. You see it when it comes on TV at 8 p.m. on a Thursday or whatever, or you catch me out and you might get a picture. Now it's like, fans want to know. Like they want to know about your life. They want to know about this. They want to know about that. Things are a little different.
Is that weird for you to adapt to open up those doors that in the past had to be kind of closed?
Not for me, because I mean, there's still like,
like you still have your personal life?
Yeah, you have your personal life, but then also too, you have to understand like, if you have, let's say 1.5 million followers on your Instagram or on your TikTok or wherever, and then you're auditioning for something, but you're a creative person. So you know how to write. You know how to be creative. You know producers, cameraman, all these teens that do this work, or adults, or your friends that work with. So I always tell other actors, man, don't get frustrated at it, bro, because it's kind of like whoever wrote that film, this is their story. And they're auditioning and they're looking for a certain thing. And if you just not what they're looking for, don't take it personal. Like they know what they're going and casting for, right? So you say, hey, I have all these creative ideas, or my buddy can write, my buddy has a camera, create it. And your audience is there, right there. That's the cool thing about it, where it's like, now you know who your audience is. I know who likes my stuff. I know who resonates with the stories that I tell or the things that I talk about, and, play to that audience, because that's who's going to keep, following you. These are the people that are watching your stuff. You know what I mean? So do that and create, continue to create. Like, don't get dormant. You know what I mean? Like when you get dormant and mundane, and that's when frustration can happen. The enemy can come in your head and make you feel like, that person has this. And it's like, no, bro, like, I could do this. I'll do it this way. I could do this, do it this way. Like even with Good Burger, like Kenan to tell you, man, like when they were moving slow with part 2, and I could see what was going on. Like I'm going to Comic-Cons, I'm going to all these places, and people are like, you know what I mean? And we see it. And I was just like, okay, I have all these followers on here. Okay, let's take this script and I'm going to put it on my kitchen table, and I'm going to put plates and forks with it. And let's play some music. And it went crazy. We had actors going in like, I want to be in it. I want to be in it. I want to be in it. That's why we had so many like cameos. I want to be in it. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it. And it was crazy. And then that day, the phone, they were like, yo, let's get this done.
Right. Wow.
Let's get this done.
Wow.
But you got to know, the power of your audience, and understand your audience. Because some people don't know their audience. So it's like really like knowing your audience. Yeah.
Was that your first time reuniting with Carmen Electra?
As
Roxanne?
Yeah, as Roxanne. yes, it was. And it was so cool because seeing her in the red dress again and her walking in, and she, and my kids were in that scene. So, as a dad, it was already like, I was just super excited. I'm being Ed, like, well, look at me, hey kids, but then I'm also like, oh, my babies are acting, and then Carmen, and we're just having fun. We're doing TikToks because, that's the age now. So everybody's doing TikToks and all this stuff to promote the movie. It was just, it was such a cool moment. And Carmen, still looks the same, still, got her dressed, all these different things. It was cool. And I remember like all the stories, like on Good Burger 1, like she was telling me stories about Prince, and, we were just hanging out because it was all these hours of us together hanging out. And it was just like the same thing. Like it never left. Like it was a big family reunion.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Was there, when Kids' Choice Awards would come around, was that almost like Christmas time for you, where you got to see all your friends come together, all these celebrities? Was this like a huge thing?
Yeah, I mean, I would say maybe the first 2 and stuff like that, like first 2 or 3, because the cool thing about all that was that if you were the hottest artist, music act, you came on the show, which was cool because, to promote your music. So we got to see a lot of the guests that were on the Kids' Choice Awards. They had already been on our show.
So they knew you.
Yeah, so it was fun to like go there and they get to see us. But what was cool was the kids from other shows, like, that were like on ABC or NBC, like all these different shows, and you get to see them. That was fun.
What shows were you watching then?
Family Matters. Definitely watching Family Matters. Jaleel, shout out to Jaleel, what up, man? Of course, the Lawrence brothers, my boys. That's my homies. I was just talking to Andrew last week. And so, but yeah, all of those guys, like Joey Lawrence, like all of them, Mary Kay Nash, like we were watching everything. Full House, like all the different shows. And so it was like really, really cool to everyone be there at this show, and my greatest memory, like from Kids' Choice Awards, was Whitney Houston, like, megastar, but then her hosting the Kids' Choice Awards and then us being a part of that was super fun, and I got a picture at my house of me and Kenan working with Whitney, in the audience. It was just so cool. Yeah.
How many Kids' Choice Awards do you have?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do you need my hand?
I think I have 4. But they're all like best actor. Then it was, what was crazy, it was best actor, best show, and then there's another one. But yeah, for all that, Kenan and Kel, and then And then we also recently got one for Good Burger too, as a fan favorite. And that's in my house, and I just that was fun because I had my daughter's birthday and her friends were over, and it's cool because like my daughter's 8, you know what I mean, and so it was like to have her friends. They went to my office, and they ran into my office, and they saw the blimp, and they were just like, "Yo, can we play with the blimp? Let's play with it's the Kids Choice Awards." And
that must have been crazy for you,
bro. It's crazy because it's like you kids weren't even born, but like when I drop my kids off at school, they're like Good Burger, that's cool. You know what I mean? And they want me to do it, and these young kids, as a dad, you want your work to be something that your kids are proud of and they're happy about, and they love it. You know what I mean? It's really cool.
I'm sure you can't talk about slime at the Kids' Choice Awards, but do you know in advance if you're going to get slimed?
Oh, that's a... Okay, so I won't get in trouble. In some cases.
There are instances where you know, but others where you don't know.
Where you don't. So in some cases, Wow. I'll just say that, so we'll keep this.
Is it hard to get it off you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that slime. That slime is hard. The slime of the Kids' Choice Awards, I have it's very different. You know what I mean? When they were making it before, it was like some food coloring and applesauce and some other stuff that was part of it. Now, it's like some scientific like goo that just drips off. I don't know whether someone said, we want to see it just stay on your face.
When you just got progressively worse.
Dude, like when I did a whole thing with Instacart and a whole thing at the last Kids' Choice Awards this year. And it was super funny where like it was like, dude, it looked like a bazooka. Like he was over there like it's a bazooka, and then it was all these different cannons on each side. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the video. Run the tape, you see it. But yeah, they tore me up, and I had to go to the after party like right afterwards, and then be back out there to take pictures. And it was so funny. I had to wash up, and it takes like I always tell people, it's 3 washes. You gotta do 3 in the shower with a loofah. Get it off 3 times, and you're good. We did it at a family vacation last week in Mexico, and I was wondering because I was like, okay, so we have some other things that we have planned to do, at the park that we're gonna do here in Mexico for vacation. So because we were wondering, because me and my wife, we know like how the slime is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we were like, but out there at the Nickelodeon Resort, if you get to take your kids, all parents, take your kids out there to the Nickelodeon Resort. It's super fun. But yeah, it was water based. So it was more water based, and I think they should just do that at the Kids' Choice Awards. Like, we jumped in the pool, came right off. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They should do that. Yeah.
Thinking back to like all the sketches, because there were times you were in a pool of popcorn. What was the messiest one that you did that it just was a nightmare to get off?
Oh, like the messy things that we did on the show?
Yeah, the messiest sketch that you did.
Oh man, there was so many crazy messy stuff.
Do you remember the popcorn one?
I sort of remember that. Oh yeah,
like
when it was up to our heads, it was me,
Lori,
Amanda,
Beth, Amanda.
Oh yeah,
Kenan.
I remember that. At that point, I was just so used to just the treatment.
What am I jumping in today?
Yeah,
Milk? Okay.
what food are you gonna throw at us? What fish? What thing are you? Burger meat? Because you gotta imagine I was smelling burger meats and fish and donuts, like anything you could possibly think of. They would do with us as far as like food is concerned. So nothing was too crazy for me. I think when I did Game Shakers, shout out to all my Game Shakers fans, Double G, all that stuff. We did a lot of crazy stuff on there too. I remember we had a llama that that came on the show, and they were like, all the kids were like, oh, he's so cute, and he just started spitting on everybody. That was a little wild. That was a little like, okay, I'll take all the other stuff, but the llama spit, I don't know. You didn't know when he was gonna do it.
Yeah.
That was a little wild. That was wild.
Were you being showered with like whatever people wanted you to wear, just the different products, the thing that a normal celebrity would be getting at that time?
Yeah, like endorsements and things we were doing.
Like wear our clothes, get our new shoes kind of thing.
Yeah, I think with shout out to our wardrobe team that was out there, because I was very, I was in the 90s hip hop was crazy back then. You know what I mean?
Who were you listening to?
And so, everybody, dude. All the Timberland stuff. The whole crew, Missy Elliott, Genuine. Shout out to my boy Tank. Yeah.
Did you like Exhibit?
Of course.
He's coming by next week.
Love it. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Exhibit,
He's
man.
great.
Exhibit's great. We met Exhibit. Exhibit's a great guy. So many amazing, like artists around that time. Of course, Tupac, Naughty by Nature. I'm in the Naughty by Nature music video. I remember around that time. Here we go now, Holly, if you hear me flow. So yeah, we were in that one. Just a bunch of like artists, Big Pun, all these guys. You know what I mean? And I was a big, heavy like hip hop fan. So that was cool with me. I forgot what the question was.
Were you being showered with all these different clothing endorsements?
That's why I said hip hop.
Thing?
So Russell Simmons was friends with Brian Robbins, and so like Fat Farm, we got all the new stuff early. You know what I mean? And a lot of the artists that were on the show, if they were endorsed by something, they would want us to wear it too. Right. So I had like all the crazy snapbacks. Shout out to Fubu. Fubu would lace us up, especially on Kenan and Kel, because we were regular like kids on that show. Like, so the gear that we would wear was cool stuff. And I remember our wardrobe guy, he had his own clothing line. So that's when you saw like the Muchacho Milo shirt of us dancing in the beginning and stuff like that. And then I'm like the king of snapbacks. Like, that's what they tell me. And the reason I did the snapbacks was I remember one of the barbers out there, like, because, you got to get your fade right? He did like a bowl cut type of situation that I didn't really dig. And so I was just like, let me wear a hat. I'm gonna rock a hat. And I'm shout out to Nickelodeon for being real cool with me, like, being able to pick out like certain things as far as my wardrobe. And so I started wearing snapbacks, but it just kind of stuck. They were just like, oh yeah, we want Kel to do the snapback, and that's why you see it in the logo and all that stuff. Yeah. And we had all the dope shoes, like the pennies and all the we had all the crazy Air Force, different like shoes. Like, we had all the shoes.
Did you ever meet Michael Jordan?
I did. I met Michael Jordan a few times.
How
and his
that?
kids. I met his kids first. That was the cool part. Amazing, dude. And then we also got to do all the All-Star games. You know what I mean? Like the NBA All-Star games. Back in the day, they used to have the kids. I forgot what it was called, but it was like earlier in the day when it was All-Star weekend. And all the kids would get together, and it was kind of like all that, where you had performances and actors would. It was with Ahmad Rashad. Remember Ahmad Rashad? Yeah. And so everybody would come on, and I remember we had already worked with Kobe multiple times. Kobe had been on all that and been on the show, and Kobe was just dropping his album around that time, so we got to introduce him on stage with Tyra Banks, and Tyra Banks did the hook on there. So yeah, shout out to all the athletes that love all that and that we've met. Yeah.
Can we fire through some fan questions?
Okay.
What's your favorite dance you did on Dancing with the Stars?
Ooh, okay. My finale dance was pretty awesome. That was fun. Shout out to Whitney. Shout out to the Footwear Kings, Creaton. I was runner up, so that was great, man. I love the finale dance. I love the salsa was awesome because we did it to This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan, and so that was fun. And what else? Well, you said the favorite. So I did like the waltz with the Boys to Men song that we did. You know what I mean? Because we did this like flutter kick. And I know Winnie's going to get me because I forgot the name of it. But that was like the one. It was this kick. That's how we won that night, which was crazy.
Was that a tough task to take on?
Bro, what? Okay, so shout out to the Dancing with the Stars fans. They are serious. I see you got it over there, right? Dancing with the Stars fans, it's a whole new, like, fan base that happened for me with that. Like, to this day, people will stop me in the street. Like, I'm sure I'll walk out here and they're gonna go, "You should have won that season of Dancing with the Stars." And they come up, take pictures just the same way, and they love it, man. But that whole experience, like, we rehearsed, I want to say 8 hours a day. Like, it was 8 hours a day, yeah. And with me and Whitney, sometimes we would go even more. Because we were just like, we were both competitive. And so, like, if the judges said something that we needed, we were like, "Oh, yeah, we'll show you. Yeah, let's get it." We were like backstage, like, "Yeah, let's
we're
get
coming
it.
For you, Derek.
Yeah, we're coming. Yeah." And I mean, everybody, like, we had like this, like, kind of stare where we was like, okay. Everybody knew. But it's so much fun. She's family, and it was just great. Like I'm a dancer, but not ballroom. You know what I mean? So to learn all these, the waltz and all these different dances, it was serious, man. And you got to point, pointing the fingers a certain way and the foot a certain way. Like one little thing, would make you look like, you didn't know what you were doing. So it was like, I really wanted to learn. And it's great because now it's like, because we did so much rehearsals and, the showtime, remember I told you like that even the night of Dancing with the Stars, where like when it's showtime, that was like a big thing because you hear the music, and then the audience is going crazy. That was always great. Like heart was just like pounding. You know what I mean? But even to this day, any song that was on my list of songs, like if I'm at the grocery store, I instantly go into the steps. Like I instantly
you can't turn it off.
I hear Whitney. All right, push your feet, like instantly, bro. Like I know all of them. It's so cool. Yeah.
Is there going to be a Good Burger 3 movie possibly in the future?
So everybody, there is a story that Kenan and I have talked about that I think it's insane, but it's amazing, and it's very funny. And shout out to Johnny Ryan, who's also producer of Good Burger too. And we talked about this idea. I can't tell y'all what the idea is, but it's wild. We make this happen, it's gonna change everything about Good Burger. Because the thing about it is that we're these are characters we've done, so we're adults now, and so like we want to like take it to different levels, and so this would be fun. It would be fun, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
My fingers are crossed.
Because we both got some fun stuff career-wise, individually and together that we have coming out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Coming up at the end of this month.
Yeah.
For New York City, we have Kel's Burger Fest.
Yeah, bro.
What made you want to do a Burger Fest?
Dude, so my wife and I, what's up, baby? Hey, Asia. What we would do, we were, I love hanging out with my kids and my family and my wife. And we would go to Fest. That was like our thing. You're right. So we go Strawberry Festival, and we would go to the Chili Festival out in Malibu. Right?
Oh yeah.
And we love to eat. I love to cook. Shout out to Gordon Ramsay, great guy. So like I love to cook, man. And so I remember we went to the Chili Fest, and I saw like everybody's like chili, yeah. And there's all these celebs there and like kids there and all this cool stuff. And then I go to Chain Fest too as well. That's another great one. And I was going, wait. I see these Pizza Fest. I see all these fests. It needs to be a Burger Fest. Now they have Burger Fest, but when you mention my name, like when people see me, they instantly think burgers. And so I said, I need to lean into that. You know what I mean? I think it'll be something fun. And my thing is like, I love creating experiences. I've done a lot of like live shows and events and hosting a lot of different events. And so I hit on my boy, Derek Berry. Shout out to Derek. What up, man? And I was like, we gotta collab, bro. Like this is the idea. I want to do a Burger Fest. And he's like, I'm all over it. Because, his genius. It's out here. I mean, Say by the Bell, Say by the Max, where he took, for the people that don't know, he create amazing experiences from some of your favorite shows and create an experience where you can go to it. So Say by the Max was the Max from Say by the Bell. That was a full-out restaurant that was here in L.A. And what some people might know is that I'm a huge Say by the Bell fan, right? And so I had like a personal mission to meet all of them. Met them all. You know what I mean? Cool with all of them. Me and Tiffany had our own show together called Deliciousness. But yeah, within that, I went to, my wife surprised me for Say by the Max. And so I went there and I said, who's the owner? Who did this? And so Derek's there. He's running around. And Derek, he's running around doing his thing. And he came over to the table and instantly we hit it off. It's like, bro, you from Chicago? I'm from Chicago. Yo, what's up? And so like now our kids are off, hang out and everything. So our first collab was, I said, hey, I want to do a live Good Burger restaurant. Let's take this to Nickelodeon and let's do a Good Burger, that everybody could go and see. And all that reboot had been going on at this time. So we did that and it was awesome. It was amazing. We had fun. It was up for a few months, because it was a pop-up. Everybody wants it back, but then the pandemic hit. And it kind of right. And so now I'm still going to different fests and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? I need to do my own fest. My own burger fest. And so we're doing it. The burger fest is a whole nother level where I love mom and pop shops and I love like different restaurants and hearing the stories of people that decided to open up restaurants. You know what I mean? After the pandemic, I did a thing where I went around to Los Angeles and me and my crew, we went around and we wanted to celebrate them. Because we knew, like, you know, after the pandemic, it was hard to, like, you know, come back from all of that. And so we wanted to celebrate them. So I went to a lot of different burger spots in Los Angeles, and I would give them, like, a gift and then also taste their burgers. You know what I mean? And then tell people about them and promote them, right? And it took off. We went all over Los Angeles because everybody wants to know, like, what's your favorite burger all the time. So then I was just like, okay, so we got the fest. I know a thing about burgers. Everywhere I go, I get free burgers. And I'm like, let's do it. So we're doing our first one in Brooklyn. What's up, Brooklyn? It's going down August 30th. Of course, me and Derek, bucket listers. Bucket list is awesome. Every time we go to a bucket list event, it's always top tier.
The Blockbuster one was insane.
Come on, bro. Blockbuster
So
was crazy, right? And so their experiences are awesome, and I love that. Like, they really think about bucket listers really thinks about the fans, you know, and in every little part of it. So you're gonna see that at Burger Fest, you know what I mean? And it has everything that I love from each fest that I've been to. So, you know, you're going to have rides, and there's going to be carnival games, and there's going to be music, and there's a vintage shop, and DJs, you know, like all this cool stuff, man. And I'm of course going to get on stage. Like it's Kel's Burger Fest, but I'm also part of it. It's just not the name. So it's part of it. Like we had a creative meeting right before I came here, and this is going to be an experience like no other. You guys are going to have a lot of fun and, of course, eat a bunch of, like, great burgers. You know, of course, in Brooklyn, we got some great burger spots. So it's going to be awesome, bro.
It's in Williamsburg, right?
Yeah, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Bring one out to L.A.
Yeah.
It's so far
That's what everybody's
here.
saying. Everybody's like, come to L.A., come to Miami. You know what I mean? But, yeah, there's so many great ones in L.A. And there's so many great ones in New York as well. So we did our rollout for New York of the burger places that are going to be there. There will be vegan burgers. Hello, everybody, because everybody was hitting me up. Like, is it going to be vegan burgers? There will be vegan burgers. But I like this, man, because it's like it's taking, ownership of what it is, and then also part of the journey. Because I realized, like, okay, I know my audience, I know they like it, and it's like, and I have a connection with burgers. But I do like enjoy eating burgers as well. And different burgers. I've eaten different ones. I've eaten burgers, lobster burgers, spaghetti burgers, all kind of different burgers. I know a lot about burgers, bro. So I was just like, you know what? Let me do a burger fest, man, and have a lot of fun and have all my fans there. And shout out to the fans. As soon as we announced, I mean, they went crazy.
Oh, I'm sure.
They were just like, I mean, you guys have been buying tickets. I'm super excited about this, and this is something that we want to keep continuing to do for you guys to have like a great experience.
And the first wave of what vendors is out. There's gonna be a second wave coming up soon.
Yep, that's right. It's gonna be a second wave of vendors. I'll shout out the vendors right now, man.
Oh, please.
I want to shout them out. So this is the first wave. You know what I mean? I don't know when it's going up, so I'll do the first wave. We got Fat South that's out here. You know what I mean?
Incredible.
They said we're coming out there, right? So, and then we got Bear Burger in Brooklyn. Bear Burger, shout out to them. They're amazing burgers. Next Stop Vegan. Yeah, Next Stop Vegan. Lacey Burger, Lacey Street Burger, and Old Boy Burger. That's Chance the Rapper's burger spot, because, you know, I'm from Chicago, so we gotta represent. So, but they have a spot in Brooklyn. So that's the first wave. Then we're gonna do the next 5. And then it's not only that, we also have vendors there too as well. So it's gonna be vendors, and it's gonna be awesome, man.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Awesome. Kel, thanks so much for coming by, opening up. Yes. This has been really awesome.
No doubt, bro. Thanks for
Guys,
having me.
if you're on the East Coast, New York, or go to Kel's Burger Fest. It's gonna be incredible.
August 30th. Let's go.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man.
See ya.